Hello, and welcome to our deep dive into a significant and often life-altering decision: pursuing a PhD in finance in the United States. If you're listening to this, chances are you're standing at a crossroads. Perhaps you're a high-achieving student with a passion for the intricate workings of financial markets. Maybe you're a professional in the finance industry, feeling a pull towards the intellectual rigor of academic research. Or you could simply be curious about what it truly means to reach the highest echelon of financial education. Whatever your starting point, this series is for you. Over the next several chapters, we will embark on a comprehensive journey to answer the central question: is a PhD in finance worth it? This isn't a question with a simple yes or no answer. It's a deeply personal and complex decision that depends on your career aspirations, your financial situation, your tolerance for risk, and your intellectual drive. Our goal is to provide you with a well-rounded, detailed, and honest perspective, exploring the significant pros and the very real cons. We aim to equip you with the information you need to make an informed choice that aligns with your personal and professional goals. Before we proceed, it is essential to set a clear foundation for our discussion. The information presented in this series is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended to be, and should not be construed as financial, investment, tax, or legal advice. The landscape of finance and academia is governed by a complex set of rules and regulations. Therefore, we will be discussing broad concepts, career paths, and general financial considerations without making specific recommendations. We strongly encourage you to consult with qualified professionals, such as a financial advisor, career counselor, or academic mentor, for advice tailored to your individual circumstances. Our aim is to illuminate the path, not to dictate which one you should take. This approach ensures we can have an open and compliant conversation, respecting the guidelines set forth by platforms like YouTube and the legal framework within the United States. So, what exactly is a PhD in finance? It's crucial to understand that this is not an advanced professional degree like an MBA. An MBA, or Master of Business Administration, is designed to prepare you for a leadership role in the corporate world. It is a practical, application-focused degree. A PhD, on the other hand, is a Doctor of Philosophy. It is a research-focused, academic degree designed to train you to become a creator of new knowledge. As a PhD student in finance, you won't just be learning about existing financial models. You will be developing and testing new ones. You will be asking fundamental questions about how markets work, how assets are priced, how corporations make financial decisions, and how financial systems impact the broader economy. The journey to a PhD is an intellectual marathon, not a sprint. It typically takes 4 to 6 years of intense, full-time commitment. The first couple of years are usually dedicated to rigorous coursework in economic theory, econometrics, and advanced financial topics. This is where you build the theoretical and quantitative foundation necessary to conduct original research. Following the coursework, you'll take comprehensive qualifying exams to prove your mastery of the material. If you succeed, you officially become a PhD candidate. The next and arguably most challenging phase is the dissertation. This is where you identify a unique research question, formulate a hypothesis, gather and analyze data, and write a substantial, original piece of academic work that contributes to the existing body of knowledge in finance. You will work closely with a faculty advisor, who will guide you through this long and often solitary process. Your dissertation will be the culmination of your doctoral studies, a testament to your ability to think critically, conduct independent research, and communicate your findings effectively. It's a demanding path, one that requires an immense amount of discipline, perseverance, and intellectual curiosity. It is not for the faint of heart. The process will test your limits in ways you might not expect. There will be moments of frustration and self-doubt. But for those who are truly passionate about research and the pursuit of knowledge, it can also be an incredibly rewarding and transformative experience. In our upcoming chapters, we will break down this journey even further. We'll explore the lucrative and intellectually stimulating career paths that a PhD in finance can unlock, from becoming a tenured professor at a top university to working as a quant at a leading hedge fund. We will also have a frank discussion about the financial realities of a PhD program, including stipends, tuition waivers, and the significant opportunity cost of foregoing a high-paying industry job for several years. We'll weigh the prestige and intellectual freedom of an academic career against the demanding nature of the research and publishing process. We'll delve into the skills you'll acquire, the network you'll build, and the personal sacrifices you'll likely have to make. Our exploration will be structured to give you a complete picture. We'll cover the application process, what top programs look for in a candidate, and how to position yourself for success. We'll discuss the day-to-day life of a PhD student, the culture of academia, and the transition from student to professional. We will also examine the dark side, the stress, the competition, and the uncertainty that are inherent parts of the doctoral journey. By the end of this series, you won't have a simple answer, but you will have a comprehensive framework for thinking about this decision. You will understand the sacrifices and the rewards, the challenges and the opportunities. You'll be better equipped to look inward and ask yourself the tough questions. Do I have the passion for research that this path demands? Are my career goals aligned with what a PhD can offer? Am I prepared for the years of hard work and delayed gratification? This first chapter is just the beginning. We've set the stage and defined the scope of our inquiry. We invite you to join us as we peel back the layers and uncover the reality of pursuing a PhD in finance in the United States. It's a journey worth exploring, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. Welcome back. In our opening chapter, we laid the groundwork for our series, defining what a PhD in finance is and outlining the demanding yet transformative journey it entails. Now we begin to answer the core question, is it worth it? By exploring the single most traditional and, for many, the most compelling reason to pursue this degree, a career in academia. For those driven by a deep-seated curiosity and a passion for discovery, the life of a finance professor can seem like the ultimate prize. But what does this life actually look like? In this chapter, we'll unpack the academic dream, looking at the roles, rewards, and realities of becoming a tenured professor at a university in the United States. The primary role of a finance professor is typically threefold: research, teaching, and service. It's a blend of responsibilities that offers variety, but also demands excellent time management. Let's start with research, as this is the very heart of the PhD and the main currency of the academic world. As a professor, you are expected to be an active researcher, continually pushing the boundaries of financial knowledge. This means identifying unanswered questions in your field, developing innovative ways to test your hypotheses, and ultimately, publishing your findings in top-tier, peer-reviewed academic journals. The pressure to publish or perish is very real, especially in the early stages of an academic career. Your research output is the primary metric by which you will be judged for promotion, and most importantly, for tenure. This path offers incredible intellectual freedom. You have the autonomy to pursue the questions that genuinely fascinate you. Whether it's the behavior of asset prices, the capital structure of firms, or the impact of financial regulation, you are your own intellectual boss. The second core responsibility is teaching. While research is paramount for career progression at major universities, teaching is a vital and often deeply fulfilling part of the job. As a professor, you will be responsible for educating the next generation of financial leaders, thinkers, and professionals. You might teach undergraduate courses on the fundamentals of corporate finance, specialized master's level classes on derivatives and risk management, or advanced doctoral seminars on econometric theory. This requires not only a deep understanding of the material, but also the ability to communicate complex ideas clearly and effectively. For many, the aha moment when a student grasps a difficult concept is one of the most rewarding aspects of the profession. It's a chance to have a direct and lasting impact on the lives and careers of your students. Finally, there is service. This is the broadest category and includes all the activities that contribute to the functioning of your department, your university, and the broader academic community. This might involve serving on departmental committees for hiring or curriculum development, advising student organizations, acting as a peer reviewer for academic journals, or helping to organize academic conferences. While it can be time-consuming, service is the glue that holds the academic community together and is an expected part of being a good university citizen. Perhaps the most coveted prize in academia is tenure. The tenure track is the probationary period, typically lasting 5 to 7 years, that a new assistant professor must navigate. During this time, your performance in research, teaching, and service is carefully evaluated. At the end of this period, you undergo a rigorous review process. If successful, you are granted tenure, which is essentially a permanent employment contract that can only be terminated under extraordinary circumstances. The principal purpose of tenure is to protect academic freedom, allowing professors to conduct research and express views on controversial subjects without fear of reprisal or job loss. It provides a level of job security that is virtually unparalleled in any other profession. The peace of mind that comes with tenure allows academics to undertake long-term, ambitious research projects that might not be feasible in an environment with more immediate commercial pressures. So, what about compensation? while academia may not always match the highest salaries found in private equity or hedge funds. A career as a finance professor is financially comfortable and highly rewarding. Again, for informational purposes only and not as a guarantee of income. Data from various academic and salary tracking sources show that compensation for finance professors in the United States is among the highest in any academic discipline. Salaries vary widely based on the prestige of the university, the rank of the professor, assistant, associate, or full professor, and the individual's research record. An assistant professor starting at a top business school can expect a very competitive 9-month salary, which can often be supplemented through summer research grants, executive education teaching, or consulting work. As professors advance in rank and reputation, their earning potential increases significantly. Beyond the salary, the non-monetary benefits are a huge part of the appeal. We've already mentioned intellectual freedom and job security, but there's also a significant degree of lifestyle flexibility. While the workload is heavy, professors often have considerable control over their schedules outside of their teaching commitments. This allows for a work-life balance that can be difficult to achieve in the rigid, high-pressure environments of Wall Street. Furthermore, the university environment is stimulating and vibrant. You are surrounded by brilliant colleagues and curious students, engaged in a constant exchange of ideas. You have access to incredible resources, from extensive libraries to powerful databases. And for many, the academic calendar, with its built-in breaks, provides invaluable time for deep thought, travel, and rejuvenation. This is the idealized version of the academic dream. And for many who achieve it, it is a fantastic reality. It is a career that rewards curiosity, values deep thinking, and offers a unique combination of autonomy, security, and purpose. It allows you to spend your life learning, discovering, and sharing knowledge. However, the path is not without its challenges. The competition for tenure-track positions at good universities is fierce, and the demands of the job can be intense. In our next chapter, we will continue our exploration of the pros by looking beyond the ivory tower at the lucrative and dynamic career opportunities available to finance PhDs in industry and government. Welcome back to our series on the value of a PhD in finance. In the last chapter, we explored the traditional and highly respected path of academia, a life dedicated to research, teaching, and the pursuit of knowledge. While that remains a primary goal for many doctoral candidates, the rigorous training of a finance PhD program forges a set of skills that are in exceptionally high demand far beyond the university campus. Today, we venture beyond the ivory tower to discover the dynamic, challenging, and often highly lucrative career paths available in private industry and the public sector. For those who love solving complex, real-world problems, these roles offer a different kind of impact and reward. Perhaps the most well-known industry destination for finance PhDs is the world of quantitative finance. You've likely heard the term quant. A quantitative analyst is, in essence, a financial detective who uses advanced mathematical, statistical, and computational models to solve complex financial problems. These are the individuals at the forefront of financial innovation, working in environments like hedge funds, investment banks, and asset management firms. Their job is not to guess which way the market will go, but to build and test sophisticated models that identify pricing inefficiencies, manage risk, and develop systematic trading strategies. The skills honed during a PhD, econometric modeling, statistical analysis, and the ability to process and interpret massive datasets, are the exact qualifications needed for these roles. A PhD's research experience, which involves formulating a hypothesis and rigorously testing it against data, provides the perfect training for the data-driven world of modern finance. The work is intellectually demanding and operates at an extremely fast pace. One day a quant might be developing a machine learning algorithm to predict market volatility. The next, they could be creating a complex model to price exotic derivatives. It is a field that requires a rare combination of theoretical brilliance and practical application. While the environment can be high pressure, it offers the chance to work on cutting-edge problems with tangible, real-world consequences. It is a world where deep intellectual ability is not just valued, but is the core requirement for success. But the opportunities in industry don't stop with quantitative trading. Many finance PhDs find influential roles within corporate finance departments of large, multinational corporations. While an MBA is often the more common degree in these settings, a PhD brings a unique and powerful analytical toolkit. They might be tasked with developing more sophisticated models for capital budgeting decisions, valuing potential merger and acquisition targets with greater precision, or designing advanced risk management strategies for the firm's global operations. In essence, they serve as internal experts, applying a level of analytical rigor that goes far beyond standard business practices. This path allows them to influence the strategic direction of a major company from the inside. High-level consulting is another avenue where these skills are prized. Top-tier management and economic consulting firms hire finance PhDs to help solve their clients' most challenging financial problems. This could involve anything from advising a government on financial sector reform to helping a bank overhaul its risk management systems, or providing expert testimony in complex litigation involving financial securities. The ability to break down a complex problem, analyze it with sophisticated tools, and communicate the findings clearly to a non-technical audience is a hallmark of PhD training, and it is precisely what these consulting roles demand. Beyond the private sector, there are critical and highly impactful roles for finance PhDs within government and regulatory agencies. Institutions like the Federal Reserve, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, and the Department of the Treasury are responsible for the stability and integrity of the entire U.S. financial system. To fulfill this mandate, they need economists and financial experts with the deepest possible understanding of how markets function. A PhD working at the Federal Reserve might conduct research that informs national monetary policy, analyzing how interest rate changes will affect the broader economy. At the SEC, a finance expert could be developing new regulations to protect investors, or using advanced analytics to detect market manipulation. These are roles with immense public responsibility. The research and analysis performed in these institutions directly influence policies that affect the lives of millions of people and the health of the global economy. This career path offers a powerful sense of public service and the opportunity to contribute to a stable and efficient financial system. Across all these fields, quantitative finance, corporate strategy, consulting, and government, the core value of the PhD remains the same: the ability to think like a researcher. It's the ability to approach an unstructured problem, formulate a testable hypothesis, apply sophisticated analytical tools, and derive an evidence-based conclusion. It's about bringing a level of intellectual depth and rigor that is unmatched by other degrees. Of course, the compensation in many of these industry roles is a significant factor. For informational purposes, it is widely recognized that positions in quantitative finance and high-level consulting are among the most financially rewarding careers available to any PhD graduate. This reflects the immense value that firms place on the specialized analytical skills developed during doctoral studies. In this chapter, we've seen that a PhD in finance opens doors to a wide array of possibilities. It is not a narrow degree leading only to a professorship, but a deep intellectual training that equips you to become a leader and innovator in any field you choose to enter. In our next chapter, we will continue to build our case by shifting from career outcomes to the personal and intellectual benefits of the PhD journey itself, exploring the profound satisfaction of deep learning and intellectual mastery. Welcome back. In our last two chapters, we explored the tangible career outcomes of a PhD in finance, from the hallowed halls of academia to the fast-paced world of industry and government. These paths offer clear external rewards, prestige, impact, and financial security. But to measure the worth of a PhD solely by its career prospects is to miss half the picture. The journey itself is a transformative process. The return on investment is not just professional, it is deeply personal. In this chapter, we will explore that intangible ROI, the profound intellectual growth and personal development that are the hidden, and perhaps most valuable, dividends of a doctoral education. First, consider the concept of mastery. In most educational settings, you are a consumer of knowledge. You learn what is already known. A PhD fundamentally changes this relationship. It trains you to become a producer of knowledge. You are pushed to the very edge of what is understood in your chosen subfield. And then you are asked to take a step beyond. The process of writing a dissertation, of contributing a truly original piece of research to the world, fosters a level of expertise and deep understanding that is unparalleled. This isn't just about knowing facts. It's about owning a piece of the intellectual landscape. The quiet confidence that comes from achieving this level of mastery is a profound and permanent reward. You will understand a part of the financial world with a clarity and depth that very few people possess. This journey toward mastery fundamentally rewires the way you think. It instills what can be called a researcher's mindset, which is composed of several powerful mental habits. The first is rigorous problem formulation. The world is full of large, messy, and vaguely defined problems. A PhD trains you to take that ambiguity and distill it into a sharp, clear, and testable question. This skill, the ability to cut through the noise and identify the core of an issue, is incredibly valuable in any aspect of life, whether in a corporate boardroom, a policy debate, or even personal decision-making. Next, the PhD journey builds immense intellectual resilience. Research is not a straight line to success. It is a path filled with failed experiments, dead ends, rejected papers, and harsh critiques. You will spend months on an idea only to discover a fatal flaw in your logic or data. Your work will be scrutinized and challenged by brilliant minds who will find weaknesses you never saw. This process can be humbling, but it teaches you to separate your ego from your ideas. You learn to embrace criticism as a gift, to persevere in the face of setbacks, and to maintain your conviction through long periods of uncertainty. This mental toughness, this resilience, is a form of personal strength that will serve you long after your degree is conferred. Perhaps the most significant change is the development of unshakable analytical rigor. After years of doctoral training, you develop an almost instinctual habit of questioning assumptions, demanding evidence, and thinking critically about any claim you encounter. You learn to recognize weak arguments, flawed data, and logical fallacies. This mindset moves beyond your research and permeates your entire worldview. It makes you a more discerning consumer of information, a more thoughtful participant in civic life, and a more effective problem solver in any context. You learn not just what to think, but how to think with precision and clarity. Beyond these internal changes, a PhD program connects you to a unique and powerful global community. Your professors are not just teachers. They become mentors and eventually senior colleagues. Your fellow PhD students are not just classmates. They are your intellectual comrades in arms, sharing in the same struggles and triumphs. Together, you form a network that is built on a shared passion for ideas. This community provides intellectual support, opens doors to collaborations, and often leads to lifelong friendships. Long after you graduate, this network remains a source of inspiration and opportunity, connecting you to a global conversation in your field. Ultimately, navigating the multi-year marathon of a PhD builds a deep and earned self-confidence. This isn't arrogance. It is a quiet assurance that comes from knowing you have faced one of the highest intellectual mountains and successfully reached the summit. It's the confidence that you can manage a long-term, self-directed project, that you can master complex material, and that you can make a meaningful contribution to knowledge. This credibility is recognized by others and, more importantly, is understood by you. These benefits, true mastery, a resilient and rigorous mind, a global community, and earned confidence, are the intangible ROI of a PhD. They don't appear on a salary survey, but they enrich your life and enhance your abilities in countless ways. In our next chapter, we will begin to pivot and look at the other side of the ledger. To have a balanced discussion, we must now turn our attention to the significant costs, starting with the most direct one: the financial realities and opportunity cost of a PhD. Hello and welcome back. In the previous chapters, we celebrated the immense value a PhD in finance can offer: intellectually stimulating careers, the satisfaction of mastery, and profound personal growth. But a clear-eyed, honest evaluation requires us to turn over the coin and examine the other side. Pursuing a PhD is not just a commitment of time and intellect. It is a major financial decision with significant, long-term consequences. In this chapter, we will confront the stark financial realities and the immense opportunity cost that every prospective doctoral student must face. As always, this discussion is for educational and informational purposes only, and should not be taken as financial advice. Our goal is to provide a framework for your own careful consideration. Let's begin with how you get by during the program itself. Most reputable PhD programs in the United States are fully funded. This is a crucial term to understand. It typically means the university waives your tuition, which could otherwise be tens of thousands of dollars per year, and provides you with a living stipend in exchange for work as a teaching or research assistant. Now, a stipend is not a salary. It is a modest allowance designed to cover basic living expenses: rent, food, utilities, and transportation. Based on publicly available data from various universities for the current academic year, these stipends can range from around $35,000 to over $50,000 per year, depending on the university and the cost of living in its location. While this may sound reasonable, it is a student-level income. In high cost-of-living areas like New York, Boston, or parts of California, a stipend can be stretched incredibly thin, often requiring shared living situations and a frugal lifestyle. It is designed to sustain you, not to help you build wealth. For a period of 4 to 6 years, while your peers in the industry are receiving promotions and building savings, your financial life is largely put on hold. This brings us to the single most significant financial downside: opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the value of the next best alternative you give up when you make a decision. In this case, the opportunity cost of a PhD is the professional salary you are not earning for those 5 or so years. Imagine a talented individual with a strong quantitative background who is accepted into a top PhD program. That same person could likely secure a well-paying job as an analyst at an investment bank, a consulting firm, or a tech company. The difference between a professional starting salary and a PhD stipend is substantial. When you multiply that difference by 5 years and factor in potential raises and bonuses, the total foregone income can easily run into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is not a trivial amount of money. It represents a significant financial headwind that you will have to overcome after you graduate. The real-world impact of this opportunity cost touches nearly every aspect of life. It means delaying major life milestones. Saving for a down payment on a house becomes a distant goal. Building a retirement nest egg through mechanisms like a 401k is postponed. For those with existing undergraduate or master's student loans, managing that debt on a small stipend can be an additional source of significant stress. These are not just numbers on a spreadsheet. They are real-life trade-offs that affect your financial security and personal choices for years to come. Furthermore, it's important to remember that the high salaries we discussed in previous chapters are not guaranteed and are often waiting at the end of a very long road. Even with a lucrative job offer upon graduation, a new PhD graduate is essentially starting their professional financial life 5 years behind their peers. It can take a considerable amount of time, sometimes a decade or more, to fully catch up and surpass the net worth of someone who took a more direct path into the workforce. Therefore, the decision to pursue a PhD in finance cannot be a purely financial one. If the primary motivation is to maximize lifetime earnings, there are arguably faster and less risky paths to achieve that goal. The decision must be rooted in a genuine passion for research and a desire for the unique intellectual and career opportunities that only a PhD can provide. You must be willing to accept the lean years, the delayed gratification, and the substantial opportunity cost as a necessary investment to achieve a non-monetary, passion-driven goal. In our next chapter, we will move from the financial costs to the personal and psychological tolls, exploring the immense stress and pressure that are an inherent part of the doctoral journey. Hello and welcome back. In our last chapter, we took a hard look at the financial costs and sacrifices required to pursue a PhD in finance. But the investment you make is not only financial. A doctoral program is an endurance event for the mind, a true mental marathon that demands an incredible amount of psychological and emotional resilience. In this chapter, we will discuss the often hidden costs, the stress, the pressure, and the personal tolls that are an inherent part of PhD life. Before we proceed, it is crucial to state that this chapter is for informational purposes only and is intended to shed light on the common challenges faced by doctoral students. It is not in any way a substitute for professional medical or mental health advice. If you are experiencing significant stress, anxiety, or other mental health concerns, we strongly encourage you to seek support from a qualified professional. Universities have resources dedicated to student wellness, and seeking help is a sign of strength. One of the first and most significant adjustments for a new PhD student is the shift to a highly unstructured and independent work environment. Unlike an undergraduate degree with its clear deadlines and constant feedback, or a corporate job with its defined projects and team structure, PhD research is often a solitary and ambiguous journey. Your primary task is to produce original research, a goal that has no clear roadmap or timeline. Days and weeks can go by without a major breakthrough, leading to feelings of isolation and a nagging uncertainty about whether you are making sufficient progress. This lack of external validation can be a major source of anxiety, requiring you to become your own project manager, motivator, and critic. This environment is also a fertile breeding ground for a phenomenon known as imposter syndrome. This is the persistent, internal feeling that you are not as smart or capable as your peers, and that you will soon be exposed as a fraud. Despite objective evidence of your success, like being admitted into a competitive PhD program, you feel you've somehow fooled everyone. Surrounded by brilliant colleagues and leading experts in the field.
Disclaimer: the information presented is for informational purposes only and is not professional financial, investment, or tax advice. All investments involve risk and may result in partial or total loss. You should always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions. By viewing this video, you agree not to hold the creator liable for any loss or damage arising from your use of the information provided.
It's easy to compare your own nascent research ideas to their finished, published work and feel hopelessly inadequate. Studies and surveys across academia have shown that these feelings are incredibly common among graduate students. But knowing that doesn't always make the self-doubt any easier to manage. Then there is the performance pressure. The academic world is competitive, and that pressure is felt long before you're on the job market. You must pass rigorous comprehensive exams, often called qualifiers, that test your mastery of years of coursework. A failure here can mean an end to your doctoral journey. You are expected to present your research in seminars, where it will be critiqued by faculty and peers. This public scrutiny is essential for improving your work, but it can also be incredibly nerve-wracking. All the while, the clock is ticking. You are keenly aware that to secure a good academic or industry position after graduation, you will need a strong dissertation and, ideally, publications in respected journals. This publish or perish mentality creates a constant, low-level hum of pressure to be productive at all times. The relationship with your faculty advisor is perhaps the single most important determinant of your PhD experience. A supportive, engaged mentor can make the journey inspiring and successful. However, a strained or neglectful relationship can be a profound source of stress. Given the inherent power imbalance, navigating disagreements over research direction or getting timely feedback can be challenging. A mismatch in communication styles or expectations can lead to frustration and stall your progress, making an already difficult process feel nearly impossible. Finally, all of these factors can lead to a severe blurring of the lines between work and life. When your office is your own mind and your project has no set hours, it can be difficult to ever truly switch off. There is always another paper to read, another data set to analyze, another model to tweak. This can lead to a culture of overwork, where sacrificing sleep and personal time feels necessary to keep up. The result, for many, is burnout, a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion. Understanding these challenges is not meant to discourage you, but to prepare you. A PhD is not just a test of your intelligence. It is a test of your perseverance, your self-discipline, and your emotional fortitude. In our next chapter, we will continue our examination of the cons by looking at the risks and uncertainties of the academic job market itself. Hello and welcome back. We've now discussed the significant financial opportunity costs and the immense personal and psychological pressures of a PhD in finance. These sacrifices are made with a future goal in mind, and for many, that goal is a tenure-track professorship at a respected university. But what if that outcome isn't guaranteed? In this chapter, we confront one of the most stressful realities of the doctoral journey: the intense, uncertain, and incredibly high-stakes gamble of the academic job market. After 5 to 6 years of dedicated effort, the entire process culminates in a single, grueling job market cycle. Unlike in industry, where you can apply for jobs year-round, the academic market is a highly structured and synchronized event that begins in the fall and runs through the winter. It is an all-consuming process that will define your future. It starts with you and hundreds of other highly qualified candidates from around the world sending out dozens, sometimes over 100, applications to universities. Each application is a carefully curated portfolio showcasing your research, your teaching potential, and your academic pedigree. The first major hurdle is securing an initial interview. These are typically held at a large centralized conference, historically the American Finance Association annual meeting in January. Over the course of a few frantic days, candidates go through a series of short, 30-minute interviews with hiring committees from various schools. From there, a small handful of promising candidates are invited for the next stage: the on-campus visit, often called a flyout. This is a 1 to 2 day long, exhaustive interview. You will meet with numerous faculty members, the department head, and the dean. The centerpiece of this visit is the job talk, a 60 to 90-minute seminar where you present your best research, your job market paper, to the entire department. You will be grilled with tough questions, and your ability to defend your work and think on your feet will be put to the ultimate test. The core challenge of this market is a fundamental imbalance of supply and demand. Every year, top universities produce a new cohort of brilliant, well-trained PhDs. However, the number of available tenure-track positions at desirable research-focused institutions is limited. This creates a hyper-competitive environment where even exceptionally talented candidates are not guaranteed a top-tier placement. Your success depends on much more than just being smart. The prestige of the university where you earned your PhD plays a significant role. The reputation of your dissertation advisor and the strength of their recommendation letters are critical. Above all, the perceived quality and novelty of your job market paper are paramount. This single piece of research becomes your calling card, signaling your potential as a scholar. If your research area happens to be a hot topic that year, your chances improve. If it's a more niche area, you may struggle to get attention, regardless of the quality of your work. Success often comes down to a combination of deep preparation, a stellar research pipeline, and a considerable amount of luck. A single bad presentation or a bit of misfortune can be the difference between multiple offers and none at all. This uncertainty is a heavy burden to bear. After years of sacrificing income and pouring your life into your research, the outcome can feel like a roll of the dice. Furthermore, personal and family considerations can add another layer of complexity. For candidates with a spouse or partner who also has a career, the two-body problem is a very real constraint. Finding two suitable professional jobs in the same geographic location can be incredibly difficult and often forces one partner to make a significant career sacrifice. This is not to say that a PhD is a bad bet. As we discussed, there are excellent industry and government jobs that serve as fantastic alternatives. However, for those whose primary dream is to become a tenured professor, it's essential to enter the process with open eyes, understanding that the competition is fierce and the outcome is far from certain. In our next chapter, we will shift gears from the pros and cons to a more practical discussion, focusing on the profile of a successful applicant and what top programs are really looking for. Hello and welcome back. Over the past several chapters, we've navigated the complex landscape of a PhD in finance, weighing the significant pros against the very real cons. For those of you who are still captivated by the path of research and discovery, the conversation now shifts from if to how. How do you become the kind of candidate that a top-tier admissions committee wants? In this chapter, we will deconstruct the profile of an ideal applicant, giving you a clear-eyed view of the high bar you need to clear. First and foremost, a PhD in finance is a quantitative degree. There is no way around this. The coursework is mathematically intense, and modern financial research relies heavily on sophisticated statistical and econometric modeling. Therefore, the single most important element in your profile is a powerful quantitative foundation. Admissions committees will scrutinize your academic transcript for extensive coursework in mathematics, especially calculus, linear algebra, and probability theory, as well as statistics and econometrics. While an undergraduate degree in finance or economics is common, many successful applicants come from backgrounds in mathematics, statistics, computer science, or engineering. What matters is not the name of your major, but your demonstrated ability to handle abstract, rigorous quantitative reasoning. This quantitative aptitude is also why standardized tests, like the GRE or GMAT, have historically played an important role. While some programs have moved towards a test-optional model, a high score on the quantitative section of these exams remains a potent and clear signal to the admissions committee. It provides a standardized data point that helps them compare you to a global pool of applicants. A near-perfect quantitative score can significantly strengthen your case, reassuring the committee that you have the raw analytical horsepower to survive the demanding first-year curriculum. Beyond grades and test scores, top programs are increasingly looking for a crucial differentiator: prior research experience. A PhD is a research degree, so demonstrating that you not only have an interest in research, but also an understanding of what it actually entails is a massive advantage. This experience can come in many forms. Working as a research assistant for a professor is the gold standard. It allows you to contribute to a real academic project and, more importantly, to earn a detailed letter of recommendation from a faculty member who has seen your research skills firsthand. Other forms of valuable experience include writing an undergraduate honors thesis, participating in a summer research program, or even working for a few years after your bachelor's degree in a research-focused role, for instance at a Federal Reserve Bank. This brings us to your letters of recommendation. 3 strong, credible, and detailed letters are the bedrock of a successful application. A generic letter that simply says you are a smart and hardworking student is not very helpful. The most impactful letters come from research-active professors who can speak with specificity about your potential as a future academic. They need to be able to compare you favorably to other students they have known who went on to successful PhD studies. They should highlight your intellectual curiosity, your resilience in the face of challenges, and your specific quantitative and analytical skills. It is your job as an applicant to cultivate these relationships with faculty members long before the application deadline. Finally, all these pieces come together in your statement of purpose. This is not just an essay about your life story. It is your first and most direct pitch as a potential researcher. It needs to be clear, concise, and focused. You should articulate not just a general interest in finance, but specific research questions or areas that excite you. Most importantly, you must demonstrate fit with the program you are applying to. This means you have to do your homework. Your statement should show that you have read the work of specific professors in that department and can explain why their research aligns with your interests. A top program is not just admitting a student, they are investing in a future colleague. They need to see that their faculty has the expertise to guide you, and that you will be a contributing member of their specific intellectual community. In summary, the ideal candidate is a package of proven quantitative excellence, validated research potential, and a clear, well-researched academic direction. In our next chapter, we'll build on this by walking through a practical timeline for the application process itself. Hello and welcome back. In our last chapter, we detailed the key ingredients of a successful PhD application, from a strong quantitative background to compelling letters of recommendation. But knowing what you need is only half the battle. Knowing when to do everything is what transforms a goal into a realistic plan. A strong PhD application is not something you can assemble in a few weeks. It is the culmination of years of deliberate preparation. In this chapter, we will lay out a practical, step-by-step timeline to guide you on your journey. Our timeline begins about 2 years before you plan to submit your applications. If you are an undergraduate, this is typically your sophomore year. This is the foundational phase. Your primary focus should be on your coursework. Ensure you are taking and excelling in the rigorous math and statistics classes that admissions committees want to see. This is also the time to start building relationships with your professors. Go to their office hours. Ask thoughtful questions in class. Show a genuine interest in their work. These early interactions are the seeds that will grow into the strong recommendation letters you will need later. Now let's move to the year before you apply, which is often your junior year or the year after you graduate. This is when your preparation needs to become much more intentional. First, deepen those faculty relationships. Transition from simply being a good student to actively seeking out research opportunities. Ask a professor whose work you admire if you can become their research assistant. This is the single best way to gain the hands-on experience that will make your application stand out. Concurrently, you should begin your preparation for the GRE or GMAT. Plan to take the test for the first time in the spring or early summer. This gives you a baseline score and leaves you ample time to study and retake it if necessary, without the stress of an impending deadline. The summer before you apply is a critical period of intense focus. Your goal should be to enter the fall with the main components of your application already well underway. This is the time to begin drafting your statement of purpose. Your first draft will not be your last. This document requires extensive thought, research, and revision. You should also finalize your list of recommenders. Approach your chosen professors in person or via a formal email. Ask them if they are willing to write a strong letter of support for you. Once they agree, provide them with a packet of materials, your draft statement of purpose, your CV, your transcript, and a clear list of the programs and deadlines, to make their job as easy as possible. Once September arrives, you are in the heart of application season. Most application deadlines for top PhD programs fall between early December and mid-January. This period is all about execution and refinement. Your main task is to polish your statement of purpose, carefully tailoring it to each specific program. A generic, copy and pasted statement will be obvious and unimpressive. Highlight the specific faculty and research areas at each school that align with your interests. During this time, you will also complete the online application forms and ensure that your official transcripts and test scores have been sent. It is also wise to send a polite reminder to your recommenders about a month before the first deadline. After you've hit submit on your last application, the waiting period begins. From January through April, you can expect to hear back from universities. Some programs may request a brief online or phone interview. If you receive an interview invitation, prepare to discuss your research interests and future goals in detail. By mid-April, most universities have sent out their final decisions. You will then have the difficult, but wonderful, task of choosing which offer to accept. This long-term, structured approach is the surest way to present the best possible version of yourself to an admissions committee. It demonstrates foresight, dedication, and a serious commitment to a career in research. In our next chapter, we will delve into the first couple of years of the program itself, exploring the demanding coursework and the crucial qualifying exams. Hello and welcome back. You've navigated the soul-searching, survived the application gauntlet, and accepted an offer. The journey is over, and the real journey is about to begin. In this chapter, we step inside the walls of the university and explore the first phase of the PhD program. the intense, foundational period of coursework and the high-stakes hurdle of the qualifying exams. This is where the transformation from student to scholar truly begins, and it is widely regarded as one of the most challenging periods of the entire doctoral program. The first 1 to 2 years are dedicated to building your theoretical and quantitative toolkit. The classes you take are fundamentally different from undergraduate, or even most master's level courses. The goal is not to memorize facts but to achieve a deep, mathematical understanding of the core theories that underpin all of modern finance. You can think of this period as an intellectual boot camp, designed to give you the foundation you'll need to conduct original research. The coursework is typically built on 3 pillars. The first is advanced economic theory. You will take PhD level sequences in microeconomics, and sometimes macroeconomics, that recast the economic principles you know in the language of advanced mathematics. You'll work through complex proofs and solve optimization problems that model the behavior of firms and individuals with a new level of rigor. The second pillar is econometrics. This is the statistical engine of financial research. You will move far beyond basic regression analysis and dive into the deep theory of statistical inference, time series analysis, and advanced modeling techniques. These courses are incredibly demanding, but they provide you with the essential skills to test financial theories against real-world data, the very essence of empirical finance. The third pillar, of course, is finance theory itself. You will take doctoral seminars in the 2 main branches of the field: asset pricing, which deals with how financial assets like stocks and bonds are valued, and corporate finance, which studies the decisions made by firms. Here, you will read and deconstruct the classic, Nobel Prize-winning papers that built the field, learning to think critically about their assumptions and limitations. The pace is relentless. Many students describe the first year as trying to drink from a fire hose. You will spend countless hours each week working through complex problem sets, reading dense academic papers, and preparing for exams. The sheer volume and difficulty of the material are designed to push you to your intellectual limits. This is not a 9-to-5 job. It's a total immersion experience that demands your full focus and dedication. This entire period of intense study culminates in the single biggest hurdle of the first half of the PhD program: the qualifying exams, often called quals, or comprehensive exams. These are a series of grueling, multi-hour written tests, typically taken at the end of the first or second year, that cover the core material from your coursework in economics, econometrics, and finance. The stakes could not be higher. Passing your qualifying exams is the official gateway to the next stage of the program. It signals to the faculty that you have mastered the foundational knowledge and are ready to begin dissertation research. It is the moment you transition from being a PhD student to a PhD candidate. Failing these exams, even after a potential retake, typically means you must leave the program. While some universities may grant a terminal master's degree as a consolation, your path to a doctorate at that institution comes to an end. This immense pressure makes the months leading up to the exams a period of intense and stressful preparation. Surviving this phase is a testament to your academic ability, your discipline, and your resilience. It is designed to be difficult, but it forges the analytical skills and theoretical knowledge that are the bedrock of a successful research career. In our next chapter, we will explore what happens after you pass this crucial test: the exciting but challenging process of finding a research topic and beginning your dissertation. Hello and welcome back. You've conquered the coursework and passed the qualifying exams. It's a monumental achievement, and it marks the most significant transition in your academic life. You are no longer just a student absorbing existing knowledge. You are now a PhD candidate, and your primary mission is to create new knowledge. In this chapter, we delve into the heart of the PhD journey: the multi-year process of identifying a research topic, conducting original work, and writing your dissertation. After the structured, high-pressure environment of the first 2 years, you are now faced with a new and often more daunting challenge: freedom. There is no syllabus. There are no weekly problem sets. There is just a vast, open frontier of unanswered questions. Your first task is to find one that is not only interesting to you but is also important to the field and, crucially, is a question you can realistically answer. This process begins with reading. You will immerse yourself in the academic literature of your chosen subfield, whether it's behavioral finance, asset pricing, or corporate governance. You'll read hundreds of papers, not just for their conclusions, but to understand their methods, their data, and their underlying assumptions. The goal is to identify a gap, a question that hasn't been asked, a theory that hasn't been tested, or a dataset that hasn't been explored. This is not a solitary quest. Your faculty advisor is your most important guide on this journey. They will help you refine your vague interests into a sharp, researchable question. They will point you toward relevant literature and away from intellectual dead ends. As your ideas solidify, you will form a dissertation committee, typically consisting of your main advisor and 2 to 4 other professors with expertise in your area. This committee will act as your board of directors, providing feedback, challenging your assumptions, and ultimately approving your final work. Once a viable topic is chosen, the real work begins. For an empirical researcher, this often means a long period of collecting, cleaning, and organizing data. For a theorist, it means long hours working through complex mathematical models. This phase is rarely a straight line. Your initial hypothesis may turn out to be wrong. Your data may be too noisy to yield a clear result. Your model may have a fatal flaw. This is a normal part of the research process, and it requires the intellectual resilience we've spoken of before. The ability to pivot, rethink, and persevere when your first, second, or even third approach fails. In the United States, a finance dissertation typically follows what is known as the 3-essay model. Instead of writing a single book-length monograph, your dissertation will consist of 3 distinct but related academic papers. Each paper is expected to be of publishable quality, meaning it should be a self-contained, original contribution to the field. One of these papers will be your job market paper, the polished gem that you will use to represent yourself when you eventually look for a job. This model has the advantage of giving you a head start on building a publication record, which is the currency of an academic career. The final years of the program are an iterative cycle of research, writing, and revision. You will write a draft, get feedback from your advisor, revise it, and repeat the process over and over until the paper is strong. Finally, after years of work, the last step is the dissertation defense. This is a formal seminar where you present your complete body of research to your committee and the public. You will answer questions and defend your methods and conclusions. Once your committee is satisfied and you submit the final document, you have officially earned the title of Doctor of Philosophy. It is the culmination of the entire journey, the moment you transition fully from student to scholar. In our next chapter, we will discuss a critical relationship that shapes this entire experience: the role of your PhD advisor. Hello and welcome back. In our last chapter, we navigated the long and winding road of the dissertation. While that journey is intellectually demanding, it's a path you do not walk alone. Standing as your guide, your critic, your mentor, and your advocate is one person whose influence on your doctoral experience cannot be overstated: your PhD advisor. The relationship you build with your advisor is the single most important one of your academic career. It can be the difference between a frustrating struggle and a successful, enriching journey. In this chapter, we explore how to choose the right advisor and how to cultivate a productive working relationship. An advisor wears many hats. First, they are your primary intellectual guide. When you are just starting, they help you transform your broad interests into a focused, viable research question. As you work, they provide high-level feedback, challenge your assumptions, and use their deep experience to steer you away from dead ends and toward fruitful avenues of inquiry. They are the expert who helps you shape your raw ideas into a rigorous, professional piece of academic research. Second, your advisor acts as a mentor and coach. The PhD is a marathon, and there will be times when your motivation wanes or you are frustrated by a lack of progress. A good advisor provides encouragement, helps you manage the psychological stress of research, and offers perspective when you feel lost. They also provide crucial career advice, helping you navigate departmental expectations and prepare for the job market. Finally, your advisor is your advocate. They are your champion within the department and in the broader academic community. Their reputation and network become your resources. They will write the most important letter of recommendation for your first job, introduce you to other scholars at conferences, and promote your work to their colleagues. A strong endorsement from a respected advisor is an invaluable asset. Given these critical roles, choosing your advisor is a decision that requires careful thought and research. The most obvious factor is research alignment. You must find a professor whose expertise and current research interests overlap significantly with yours. Beyond that, consider their mentorship style. Some advisors are very hands-on, meeting weekly and providing detailed feedback on every step. Others are more hands-off, expecting you to work independently and check in only when you have significant results. Neither style is inherently better, but you need to find a match for your own personality and work habits. It's also wise to investigate an advisor's track record. Have they successfully guided students through the dissertation process before? Where are their former students now? Talking to a potential advisor's current and former students is one of the best ways to get an honest assessment of their mentorship style and effectiveness. Once you have an advisor, the responsibility for maintaining a productive relationship falls heavily on you. Proactive communication is key. It is your job to schedule meetings, set agendas, and report on your progress. Do not wait for your advisor to chase you down. When you do meet, always come prepared with new work, a summary of your progress, and a list of specific questions. Respect their time by being organized and focused. Perhaps the most important skill to learn is how to receive criticism. Your advisor will challenge your work and point out its weaknesses. This is not a personal attack. It is an essential part of the scientific process. Learn to listen to feedback with an open mind, to separate your ego from your ideas, and to use constructive criticism to make your research stronger. This relationship is the foundation upon which your dissertation and indeed, your future career will be built. In our next chapter, we will look at the wider community you'll be a part of, the role of your peers and the importance of academic conferences. Hello and welcome back. In our last chapter, we focused on the vital relationship with your PhD advisor, your personal guide through the complex world of academic research. But while your advisor is your anchor, research is not conducted in a vacuum. A successful PhD journey involves becoming an active citizen in a vibrant intellectual ecosystem. This ecosystem is composed of your fellow students, your departmental community, and the global network of scholars in your field. In this chapter, we explore the crucial role of this wider community in your development. Your most immediate and in many ways, most important resource is your cohort of fellow PhD students. These are not your competitors. They are your colleagues and your single greatest source of support. They are the only other people on Earth who truly understand the unique pressures and challenges you are facing. They are the ones you can turn to late at night to debug a line of code, talk through a half-formed research idea, or simply vent your frustrations after a tough meeting. This shared experience forges a powerful sense of camaraderie. These peers will be the first to read your rough drafts, providing invaluable and honest feedback long before your work reaches your advisor. Many of these relationships will last a lifetime, evolving into research collaborations and a trusted professional network long after you graduate. The next layer of your community is the department itself, and its intellectual life often revolves around the departmental seminar. Typically held weekly, the seminar is a forum where a professor from another university is invited to present their latest, cutting-edge research. For a PhD student, attending these seminars is an essential part of your training. It is your front-row seat to the frontier of knowledge in your field, exposing you to new ideas and methods years before they appear in published journals. Just as importantly, you get to observe the process of academic debate in action, watching how faculty members ask sharp, critical questions, and how the speaker defends their work teaches you the norms of scholarly discourse and hones your own critical thinking skills. As you progress in your research, you will begin to engage with the broadest layer of the academic community by attending and presenting at conferences. A conference is a gathering of hundreds or even thousands of scholars in your field. In the later years of your PhD, you will submit one of your research papers to a conference. If accepted, you will have the opportunity to present your work to an audience of experts. This can be a nerve-wracking experience, but the feedback you receive from leading figures in your field is incredibly valuable for refining your paper. Conferences are also the primary venue for networking. You'll meet other students and professors, discuss research in informal settings, and begin to build a reputation for yourself within the academic world. Engaging with this community, your peers, your department, and the global network of scholars, is not a distraction from your dissertation. It is an integral part of the process. It is how you learn, how you improve, and how you transform from a solitary student into an active member of the international scientific community. Your success depends not just on the quality of your own ideas, but on your ability to engage with the ideas of others. In our next chapter, we will bring many of these threads together as we prepare for the finish line. The job market and life after the PhD. Hello and welcome back. For years, the PhD has been a process of inputs, coursework, research, and immense personal effort.
Disclaimer: the information presented is for informational purposes only, and is not professional financial, investment, or tax advice. All investments involve risk, and may result in partial or total loss. You should always conduct your own research, and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions. By viewing this video, you agree not to hold the creator liable for any loss or damage arising from your use of the information provided.
Now, as you enter your final year, the focus shifts entirely to the output, securing a job and launching your career. This is the culmination of everything you've worked for. The final year is an intense, all-consuming period of polishing your research, navigating the job market, and preparing for the transition to life after graduation. In this chapter, we'll walk through that final sprint to the finish line. The centerpiece of your final year is your job market paper. As we've discussed, this is the single best piece of research from your dissertation. Starting in the summer before your last year, you will work intensely with your advisor to polish this paper to perfection. It needs to have a compelling research question, a flawless methodology, and clear, impactful results. This paper is your intellectual calling card. It will be sent with every application, and will be the subject of every interview presentation. Its quality is arguably the single most important factor in your job market success. By late fall, you will enter one of two parallel job markets, or in some cases both. The academic job market, as we detailed in an earlier chapter, is a highly structured, intense, and synchronized process. You will send out dozens of applications, hope for interviews at the major winter finance conferences, and seek the coveted invitation for an on-campus visit. Your entire support system, your advisor, your committee, and your peers, will be mobilized to help you, conducting mock interviews and providing feedback on your presentation. It is a grueling test of your research and your communication skills. Simultaneously, you might explore the industry job market. This path is less structured and operates on a different timeline. Roles for quants, consultants, or corporate finance experts open up as companies have needs, not according to the academic calendar. Here, your CV is tailored differently, highlighting your quantitative skills, your programming abilities, and the practical implications of your research. The interview process is also different, often involving technical tests, coding challenges, and case studies designed to assess your problem-solving abilities in a business context. Pursuing both academic and industry jobs at the same time is possible, but it is incredibly demanding and requires exceptional organization. Regardless of the path, this period is a test of your professional and emotional resilience. You will face a great deal of uncertainty and, inevitably, some rejection. The key is to remember that the outcome is not a final judgment on your worth or the quality of your research. The job market has many variables, including luck and timing, that are outside of your control. Once you accept an offer, whether from a university, a hedge fund, or a government agency, the final task is to complete and defend your dissertation. With a job secured, this final step, while still rigorous, is often more of a celebration of your achievement. You are no longer a candidate. You are a professional, a doctor, and a new colleague. The long marathon is finally over. In our final chapter, we will bring everything together to answer our central question one last time. Is a PhD in finance worth it? We are now at the threshold of finishing the entire series. We've covered the journey from the initial decision through the final job search. The only thing left is to provide a final summary and conclusion. Hello, and welcome back for the final chapter of our series. We began this journey with a single, complex question. Is a PhD in finance worth it in the United States? Over the past 14 chapters, we have explored this question from every angle, deconstructing the PhD experience from the initial application to the final job search. We have celebrated the profound rewards and examined the significant costs. Now, in our conclusion, we will synthesize everything we've learned to provide a final framework, not to give you a definitive answer, but to help you find your own. As we've seen, the case for a PhD is compelling. It offers a path to a unique and rewarding career in academia, a life of intellectual freedom dedicated to research and teaching. It unlocks doors to high-impact, lucrative, and challenging roles in quantitative finance, consulting, and government. On a personal level, it is a journey of immense intellectual growth, forging a resilient and rigorous mind, and bestowing the quiet confidence that comes from true mastery of a subject. These are the powerful pros that draw brilliant minds to this path year after year. However, we also confronted the very real cons. A PhD comes at the cost of immense financial sacrifice, years of foregone income, and a frugal student lifestyle. It is a mental marathon that tests your emotional limits with stress, pressure, and uncertainty. And for those dreaming of an academic career, it culminates in a high-stakes, hyper-competitive job market where success is never guaranteed. So, how do we balance this ledger? The answer is that the question is not, is a PhD worth it? But rather, is a PhD worth it for you? The decision is deeply personal. A PhD in finance is likely the right path for you if you have a deep, burning curiosity about the fundamental questions of finance. A curiosity that goes beyond just wanting a high-paying job. It is for those who are fascinated by the process of research. The puzzle solving, the data analysis, the slow and often frustrating search for an answer. It is for individuals who possess a high tolerance for ambiguity, who can persevere through setbacks, and who are motivated by the pursuit of knowledge as much as, or more than, by external rewards. Before you make your final decision, I urge you to continue your research beyond this series. Talk to current PhD students and ask them about their daily lives. Reach out to professors whose work you admire. Conduct informational interviews with people who have the kinds of jobs you aspire to. Their first-hand experiences will be invaluable. Please remember that all the information presented in this series has been for educational and informational purposes only. It is not and should not be considered financial, investment, career, or legal advice. It is a map designed to show you the terrain, but you must choose your own path. A PhD in finance is one of the most demanding educational journeys you can undertake. It is a multi-year commitment that will reshape the way you think and define the trajectory of your professional life. It is not for everyone, but for that small group of individuals with the right combination of passion, intellect, and perseverance, it is more than just a degree. It is a profound and transformative experience that can provide a lifetime of fulfillment and impact. Thank you for joining me on this journey.
Disclaimer: the information presented is for informational purposes only and is not professional financial, investment, or tax advice. All investments involve risk and may result in partial or total loss. You should always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions. By viewing this video, you agree not to hold the creator liable for any loss or damage arising from your use of the information provided.